Anyway, I also hope to speak to Paul McCloskey on tonight's show, but he trains in the evening and I can't change his sparring schedule. Anyway, I've had Doody on a few times in the past, so I've done my bit, and I'm no doubt I'll speak to McCloskey next week. Anyway, I'm going to speak now to McCloskey's promoter. However, he's not the promoter of next Saturday's Amir Khan and Paul McCloskey world title fight. That comes up a bit later in the show, so hold your horses and put your seatbelt on because it might get a bit fiery. I'm going to talk to Eddie Hearn. Now, the rumours have been flying all day about next week's fight. So, Eddie, what can you tell us about next week? Because I'm reading and seeing so much stuff. Eddie, what can you tell us?
How you doing, Steve?
How are you, boss?
As I said, as you rightly said a few moments ago, we're not the promoters of the show.
Absolutely.
So, if we were, things might be going a little bit more smoothly. But the situation is Sky haven't made an announcement yet. There's a lot of speculation as to whether it'll be a pay-per-view show or not a pay-per-view show. And I think until our broadcasters and the broadcasters of the fight come out and publicly make a statement, we can't obviously speculate upon that. There's a lot of discussions going around between the broadcasters and promoters and fighters at the moment. So there's a lot of things to be unearthed over the next probably 24 hours. But from our position, obviously Paul's position, he's staying out of it. He's got a job to do. He's prepared the best he can possibly prepare, and he's got the fight of his life coming up. So as far as he's concerned, it's all systems go for Saturday, whether it's on pay-per-view or whether it's not even on television. It doesn't matter to him, And
he's guaranteed he's set.
Yeah, he's done hundreds of rounds of sparring, and he doesn't want it to go to waste. So, the promoters have got to do their thing, and there's reasons why this has happened in the first place, and there's reasons why we're in this predicament. But we won't go into that. That's down to the promoters to sort out. And we'll just turn up on the night and try and do the business. But
just to go over it, just finally before we leave it, he's happy. Paul's happy. He's away from all of this. He's got his head down. He's at a flat in Belfast, away from his family. He's all absolutely perfect.
Absolutely. I mean, there are some outstanding issues from our side to resolve. Should things change in terms of the relationship between the broadcaster and the promoter and how it's going to be broadcast. But as far as Paul's concerned, he's got absolutely nothing to do with that. That's our job. Our job is to fight for our fighter, to make sure we get the best the best opportunities for our fighters and the best deals for our fighters.
Absolutely.
So his job is to go into the ring and put in a performance, and he's prepared the best he can to go and try and do that next Saturday.
You can't ask for that. Okay, let's leave that then, Eddie, and let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, Darren Barker's European title fight, and then after that, and I'm going to ask you just to kick your slippers off, to lean back in your chair and lift your feet up, and after you've talked about Darren Barker, just tell me a little bit about the international heavyweights on the May the 7th, because I'm already camping out, Ali Pally.
Sure, well, Darren Barker. Firstly, Darren Barker, April the 30th at Olympia. We all know how many tickets Darren Barker sells. It's a real homecoming for him in London. Good. This guy, I was with him today. We were at Chelsea's training ground today. He was with all the players. They were watching him on the pads and watching him train. It was a great atmosphere. And, this guy is someone who deserves something out of the sport. He was a great amateur. He worked so hard. He's had his injuries. And now he's got a real rainbow fight, if you like, against Domenico Spada, the Italian. Yeah. 7 in the WBC, Darren 6. And it's a real tough fight. This guy is a real tough fight. I take my hat off to Darren because, talking to Tyson Fury, I offered Darren a warm-up fight. He's been out of the ring for a year. He doesn't want it. He's 28 years of old, and he feels he's ready now to progress, and this is the time. He's got a great team of people around him. We've just signed a new deal with Adidas Boxing.
That's become a staggering deal. Yeah.
Yeah, the first fighter to be associated with Adidas for a long time.
Since Naz.
And he's a great guy. He's a great fighter, and I think there's plenty to come. And it's going to be an electric atmosphere on the 30th. We've got Ashley Sexton adding to the bill. A lot of other young ticket sellers. It's going to be a great night on the 30th.
I'll be there. Now, Ed, what about the following weekend, mate? International heavyweights. Oh. Listen, I can hear it in your voice. Give us any additions. I know you're working round the clock. Give me some additions.
You said kick off your slippers and relax. You can't relax when you're putting a show together like the international heavyweights, I mean, we've been working tirelessly around the clock, speaking to people, promoters, and we're nearly there. We're up to about 7 names now. Michael Sprott confirmed a couple of days ago he's going to be flying the flag for Britain. Also, the last heavyweights prize fighter champion. We've got Germans, we've got Canadians, we've got Cubans. Fredo Quendo has just signed the Puerto Rican on David Hayes' request. David Hay phoned me up and said, look,
training with him.
I want Frez. He's my training partner. He's my man. I want him in.
Top man,
he's going to provide a lot of entertainment. It's one thing with the heavyweights. It's crazy is that tickets go so quickly. The viewing figures are always through the roof.
Yeah.
No matter what weights you do, everyone wants to watch big men knocking 7 kettles out of each other.
And also, you've got, I mean, you know, assuming Kevin Johnson stays in bed and Frez actually comes over, these are good talkers as well. So in addition to the normal prize fighter stuff, Eddie, we've got all these lunatics and their maverick nutcase travelling gangs with them.
Of course, I know. And also, you've got to think that in the heavyweight division at the moment, with a lineup that will be assembled like that, who's to say that the winner can't fight for the heavyweight title? Because at the moment, the division is so stagnant in every department.
Yeah.
You know, even in the domestic division, talked about Tyson there. Tyson's struggling to get a fight. I wish Tyson would come out and fight, put himself on the line and put, you know, his profile through the roof in international heavyweights. If he's as good as he says he is, and I think he is, I think he'd probably win. But, you know, he's got his own agenda. He'll fight Derek Chisora. I think that'd be a great fight if it ever gets made.
Yeah.
And, you know, but the one thing I want to see in boxing and the one thing we're pushing for is to make sure that the quality fighters have quality fights.
Yeah.
Because unless we provide that to the fan, this game is going to die.
Yeah, we can't just have good fighters out there.
That. And that's what people want. People want proper fights. We're in the age where people want value for money, and they want to see proper fights, proper fighters having proper fights. And that's really the aim of everything we're trying to do at the moment.
Now, listen, also, Ed, before I let you go, and thanks for your time, I keep hearing rumours about Matchroom signing up fighters. There was the Darren Barker rumour, which I avoided talking to you for a week because I didn't want you to tell me, in which case I'd be under pressure to keep my mouth shut. But I'm hearing about other fighters. Can you give us a clue? Any big names?
Well, you know, it was never really our strategy to start signing fighters, but when fighters come along who we believe in and we think are a little bit special, then we want to make sure that they're matchroom fighters. One was Darren Barker, and today I'm delighted that we've agreed terms with another fighter, in my opinion, one of the greatest prospects in the world. And, you know, you think I'm going to tell you, but I'm not. I'm going to make a formal press conference on this. But we've agreed terms with what I think certainly the best young prospect in the country, and in my opinion, the best prospect in the world. And I am so excited to have him fighting for Matchroom, and I'm more excited for the viewers, particularly of Sky Sports, who are going to watch this guy on Saturday fight nights, headlining shows exactly where he should be. You know, not as a chief support, not as a third, fourth support,
but as the main guy,
where he should be, headlining shows, and we're going to make this kid a superstar.
Right, well, I've got a short list of about 3 or 4, hopefully in 24 hours. I know. Listen, Eddie, it's a pleasure having you on. If I don't see you before the Darren Barker fight, I'll see you on the night there, Eddie Hearn. And I'll see you next Saturday in Manchester.
Will do. Cheers, Steve.
Eddie, thanks very much. Eddie Hearn there, who runs the boxing out of match. Well, John Wischusen also is involved, and Barry Hearn's involved, but increasingly Eddie is more hands-on, especially with regards to the to prize fighter.